Hello everyone and welcome to the third Project Cars Online episode, and this is all from my perspective this time because I don't have the replay footage. We're in Ginetta Juniors on the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. This was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed driving these cars. I get a great start, as you can see there, and I gradually work my way up to get on the inside of Duro going into the first corner. He just hits me on the outside, which knocks me onto the curb, which then sends me back into a spin, which then someone else comes and hits me and I flip over, and yeah, that was not the start that I was expecting. It was an incredible rollover there as well. You know, damage wasn't on. I mean, visual damage was on, as you can clearly see, but actual proper damage wasn't on, so my car wasn't affected in this race. But yeah, that was crazy. And at the time, this was a stream race. You know, I was streaming at the time, and yeah, it was pretty crazy to have the start of a race like that. So I'm miles behind everybody at this point. 15th place out of 16. I think someone else must have had an issue at the very start. Miles behind everybody, but it's a bit of a recovery drive. And you know, personally for me, I quite like having different experiences with racing. As you can see, I just got a much better run out of that last corner and I'm able to make up a position there. Two other people were off the track at one other point, so I made up 2 positions there as well, so I'm already into 12th. Crazy first lap, crazy incident at the start. You know, just one little knock sends you onto a curb, sends you into a spin, and then you end up rolling over multiple times. So yeah, this it's a bit of an interesting race even just off the bat, but yeah, it was strange to have to race in these cars with no bonnet or anything. So someone gets an overtake on me there, a little bit rough on the inside, but what can you do? This is Project Cars, and yeah, I get another overtake on somebody there. At this point, I'm really just trying to overtake as many people as I can, focus on corner exits, you know. As you can see, I get a really good corner around there, and I overtake pretty much 3 people in one corner at that point, and I'm already up into 6th place by the end of the second lap. So that was pretty good after a frankly terrible start. I do try to go up on the inside of Calavera here, but he's having none of it. So yeah, I wasn't really too far enough up the inside there. And at this point, I'm sort of settled in a bit more, you know. I'm not. Well, yeah, I'm settled into the race, so I've had the issue. I've managed to make up a few positions. I'm used to the car a bit more now, used to the track, and I've overtaken a few people. I'm ready to kind of try to push on and see what I can do. And it turns out to be a reasonably good race, you know. I have a great little battle with Calavera here. It was probably one of the cleanest battles that we had throughout all of the stream races that we did, considering, you know, stream races that we'd had at this point tended to be quite rough, you know, when we just invited anybody in. So yeah, it was quite an interesting battle. I think at this point he ends up making a mistake, just outbrakes himself as I'm pressuring him into this corner, and I'm able to get up the inside. That puts me into 4th place. Again, it's pretty decent that I've managed to make up all those positions straight away, and the top 3 are quite far ahead. You know, as you would expect, they've not had any issues. They're battling with each other, so maybe they're slowing each other down. But in general, they haven't had the issues at the start that I've had, or maybe a few people behind have had. So they've got a bit of a decent gap. But I'm feeling quite good with this car. I'm feeling that I'm quite confident with the car. I'm quite confident with the track. I feel like I can get some quite decent lap time out of it. And that's what, as you'll see, that's what it ends up happening. I'm able to gradually work my way up to the top 3. And this is the first race where I had the best lap of the race, you know, the best lap time, the best single lap time anyway. So that was, again, you know, another encouraging sign throughout the course of this Project Cars Online series. It's more a case of my personal sort of journey through the game, I guess you could say, in terms of, you know, learning different cars, learning different tracks, getting the feel of it, getting into the game itself, reaching those kind of milestones. It's very similar to the real life racing series in that regard, I would say. You know, certainly the 2014 real life racing series, where I was pretty, you know, hopeless at the start, not necessarily majorly hopeless, but, you know, trying to get into it a little bit more and gradually work my way up through these things, you know, learn things as we're going, get a bit quicker all the time. And it's the same sort of thing with this series, and that's kind of how I want to go with that series. You know, I want to talk about the racing that I'm doing, the thought processes that are going into what I'm doing in each race, but also, you know, explain my journey through the game as well. Now, at this point, I'm pushing quite hard. As you saw there, you know, I was really on that inside curb. I've managed to gap Calavera a bit behind me, and I'm catching up to the top 3, as you can pretty visibly see it now. Really, we're on to the last lap at this point. I'm not really expecting that I'm going to be able to catch these top 3, but, you know, you never know what might happen in racing. You've always got to be pushing to the end. They might collect each other, and I might make up a few places. You never know what might happen. You can see that I'm visibly catching people. I'm again half a second a lap quicker on this lap than I was on the previous, but I push a bit too much. As you can see there, pushing a little bit too much on the inside of that corner, you know, turning a bit too, getting on the curb and ending up spinning around and losing a position to Calavera. But I still managed to finish in 5th, you know, after the terrible start. I was half a second up on my best lap time on that lap until I made that mistake, so I would have had an even better best lap than what I already got, and I already got the best lap of the race. So it was an encouraging race. I enjoyed driving these cars on this track. I'll certainly probably be doing it again. But it was at this point that the events of the previous real life racing series happened, which is also going to be linked in at the end of the video. And at this point, I kind of stopped racing for a while. You know, as I've explained in that video, I stopped racing pretty much altogether on a lot of things. So the next video in the Project Cars Online series will probably have happened quite a while after the events of this race. But, you know, that's how it is. If you want to know more about that, go and watch the real life racing video. I'll link it down below as well. But yeah, thanks a lot for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you thought about the crash at the very start of the race down below. I really appreciate your support as always, and I'll see you next time.